want this. Green flag waves. Oh, and Hinchcliffe's going to get it. Wow, Elio made a mistake at turn one.
Six-time IndyCar Series winner and one hell of a dancer, Toronto's James Hinchcliffe has a new job that feeds his need for speed as a Vancouver E-Prix ambassador for the new Formula E racing series that features all-electric vehicles. We welcome friend of the show, Hinch, to plug in and plug FE to the next gen of race fans far and wide. Good morning, Hinch.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. So let's start here. How does Formula E, how does this circuit compare to and contrast with F1, and how did you get plugged into it?
Right. So in a lot of ways, very similar. You know, both Formula E and Formula One, they are single-seater, open wheel, open cockpit cars. The biggest difference with Formula E is the cars are all electric. So you don't have the kind of ear-piercing sound that you get out of a traditional motor in a Formula One car or an Indy car. These drivers have to conserve energy and battery power in the same way that a driver would have to conserve fuel in a different series. And what this does is, you know, really this series was created to help bring a focus to sustainability and taking care of the planet moving forward. And it gives the auto manufacturers this incredible platform to develop this technology that eventually will go into the road cars and all the EVs that we see on the street. So it's very exciting. You know, without the noise of the engines,
right,
you don't have the noise limits that a lot of racetracks suffer from. And so, you know, as we were looking at that clip there, it's through the streets. We're downtown Vancouver. You know, they run through all city streets in major cities across the world. And it's very cool to get to bring something like this back to Canada and to Vancouver for the first time.
But I think that's great, just like F1, right? The tech, the R&D, it all ends up eventually making its way to the consumer vehicle market, as it should. What does a pit stop look like?
Well, pit stops don't actually happen in FE anymore. So when the series first started, the technology was still in its infancy. And so a pit stop was actually drivers literally coming into the garage, jumping out of one car and into another, because the batteries couldn't last the whole race. With the technology developments that the manufacturers have managed to accomplish, now it can do a 45-minute race without any pit stops.
It's amazing.
And there are some cool things that you don't see in other race series. There's something called the fan boost, so the fans can get engaged and actually vote for their favorite driver ahead of the race, which gives them a little boost of power that they can use at one point during the race. And there's also something called attack mode. So it's almost like in a video game. You drive over a certain part of the track and it gives you a little boost in energy, but you only get to use it one or two times a race. So
that's cool.
A lot of strategy involved. It's a very cool approach.
Now, we're proud here to be part of the TSN family with Bell Media, and they are the official English broadcaster, and there's some races coming up this weekend in Rome. Tell me a bit about those, and the upcoming on Canada Day weekend, the Vancouver E-Prix, which you are the ambassador for.
Yeah, exactly. So, like you say, the next round for the FIA Formula E World Championship is actually this weekend in Rome, 8:30 Eastern in the morning on the 9th and 10th on TSN. You can catch those races. And again, it's a phenomenal backdrop. It'll give everybody kind of a sense, if you've never seen it before, on what to expect Canada Day weekend in Vancouver. And the E-Prix there is really just part of Canadian E-Fest. It's a whole 3-day festival. Right. It starts off with a business conference, really promoting sustainability, getting companies a little more on board with taking care of the planet moving forward. Then on Friday, we have a celebrity race, which I'm very excited about. As the token ambassador racing driver, I get to train all these celebrities before they get to go out and do battle in these Canadian-designed, single-seater, 3-wheeled electric cars. We have Jason Priestley, Alexander Bilodeau, Charmaine Crooks, a couple different athletes, entertainers that we're going to have in that race, and that's on the Friday, and then of course the Saturday the E-Prix itself. So very exciting, full weekend for the whole family.
I'll say. And going back to the celeb angle too, with all those others, you got Leonardo DiCaprio, not going to be there, but he has really helped to boost the profile, right? Because he's a big time investor in this whole thing. And you go back to the film festival here in Toronto, TIFF, a couple of years ago, the We Go Green documentary, really giving a boost to this whole thing.
Yeah, he's actually one of the earlier supporters of the series and of the concept. He's involved in one of the teams, and obviously having an advocate like that is a pretty big deal for them.
Sure. Last thing, I got a minute, and I want to get this in here, Hinch. It's kind of off topic, but we had your old driving mate, Robert Wickens, on here a couple of months ago, back in the driver's seat, finishing third in the Daytona, the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge. How awesome is it to see him back behind the wheel?
Yeah, it's incredible, man. It's been It's been pretty emotional, being kind of with him, near him through that whole thing. And I was lucky to be down in Daytona to get to see that. And
cool.
It's just awesome seeing Robbie back behind the wheel where he belongs and back up on the podium where he belongs. I mean, we always knew he still had it in him. So it was great to finally get that opportunity again.
James Hinchcliffe, we thank you so much for your time. You're the ambassador for the Vancouver E-Prix that's happening on Canada Day weekend, because some big races in Rome this weekend for the new Formula E Series, well, fairly new, happening on TSN, and that's something we are all proud to be a part of. Great to talk to you, man. It's good to see you, a friend of the show.
Likewise. Thanks so much for having me on.
Don't be a stranger. We'll have you anytime.